Poza rządem. Program o organizacjach pozarządowych.
Good evening, cześć. It's Irmina and program EVS Streaming Live. We come back with our program after a long break. And again, for this school year, once per month, we will discover different aspects of EVS, European Voluntary Service. I'm going to invite here for talks and discussions and maybe arguments volunteers from different countries who came here to perform their voluntary service, to live in Poland, to experience life and work in Krakow in Poland. We are going to talk about their work and experience and opinions. And today, my first guest will be Olia, who's coming from Ukraine, and she's working in a STRIM office as some kind of a link between volunteers and the STRIM workers. So she's like a manager of the group, and she helps us a lot. Previous month, you could listen our program from last year. It was a program that I recorded with Nazarena. We had an interview, we had a talk about what is EVS, what is the idea, how to apply. But since today, every month, I'm going to host here people who are actually doing this. So who managed, whose application were approved. So they came here. They are in total. How many are you, Olia? Do you remember?
27.
There are in total 27 people. I hope to meet them or all of them here during these programs. And let's learn something about them and their experience. Olia, could you please introduce yourself briefly before we announce the topic of tonight's talk?
Yeah, sure. So, as you know, my name is Olia, and I came from Ukraine. I'm here volunteer since 2 months here, and my project will last till the end of June. And I'm really happy that I'm here.
Is it your first time being on the live program on the radio, or maybe not?
Yeah, it is first program, and I am a bit nervous because of this, and excited at the same time.
Great. Did you tell your friends to listen?
Yes, and I could say that there is a friend from Brazil even listen us.
Nice, even from Brazil. Great. Okay, Ola, so... Or maybe you can be the one that announces a bit the topic of tonight, why we came here.
Yeah, sure. Today we are going to talk about youth activities, volunteering, and especially volunteering in Ukraine, how it looks like, and my personal experience of it.
Well done. The homework is done. Great. Ola, tell me maybe something very simple for the beginning. Why you decided to do your EVS? Why you decided to be a volunteer? And have you been a volunteer before?
Yes, I was a volunteer, but in Ukraine, and usually I took part like a volunteer in some festivals and events. But why I applied for EVS? Because I knew that this is amazing experience, and I really wanted to meet these people. I was so motivated about EVS. That's why I was starting to search for some programs that could be interesting for me. And EVS is really the best way to being a volunteer, I think.
The best option.
Yeah.
How did your family and friends react when you told them that you're going for EVS? Is it a known idea in Ukraine? Or maybe you felt alone with this great idea of going abroad? How was it?
It was different, I could say, because for my family, more older generation, I could say that being a volunteer, it's something strange, and most of them thought that I am going to waste my time, because they couldn't understand how I could work somewhere and didn't to be paid for this, how is it possible? But also I had friends that support me. They are more open-minded for this, and not everyone knows about EVS. Some people don't know about this. Some knows. I could say that less people know about this than knows.
And before coming here, did you meet people who actually realized this kind of project, EVS or some other long-term volunteering?
No, I didn't meet personally someone who did EVS or any long-term volunteering programs. I found in the internet some blogs and articles from ex-volunteers in other countries like France, Spain and other European countries, and they were so excited about their project that they did. They share their experience, and after reading this, I understand that I want to join. I want to feel it also.
Can you tell us a bit more? So, still in the topic of EVS, what are your tasks in Krakow during your EVS? Or, what are you doing on a daily basis? If you can tell a bit few more words, because I think it's a very interesting and very different and very challenging role that you have here.
Yeah, sure. So in Krakow here, as you say, that I am some kind of a link between volunteers and STRIM. So a lot of time, maybe for someone it could be job of their dream, because I spend in Facebook chatting with other volunteers. They have maybe some questions, some issues that I help to solve them. Also, another my important role, I think, is to promote EVS and STRIM to help them with this. For example, like today we were in this Students' Mobility Fair in Jagiellonski University, so it was also really cool, and I think I have really, really great position here of being a volunteer.
Nice. Yes, you're like the queen of the whole group, or the boss of the whole group, right? Tell me, when you share now with what's happening here with your friends who stay back in Ukraine, do you think like some people like got interested, got encouraged, because you have your job, but also you can see how the volunteers are functioning, like what they do in kindergartens and cultural centers. So you have a lot of information, I would say. And my idea is if maybe someone of your friends already got like interested, or maybe some people are coming for EVS, what they think when they hear what you are doing here.
Yeah, some of my friends really started to be interested in this. I could say that before this they also was interested in such kind of programs, but when I did it, I started like to tell how is it going, how some formalities was did. So for example, yesterday even I talked with one of my friends, and she says that she is going to looking for some programs, and she asked me about where she could find some vacancy, and like in a few months she really would like to go to the EVS.
Cool. So like sharing the information, I think people really like to listen to someone they know, right? So they trust it more. And still, like think now, still about your friends, but I wanted to ask you, think about your friends and peers who stay in Ukraine. Are they involved, and who and how often? Are people involved there in volunteering, young people? And if so, if you can you identify some fields or areas that are like particularly attractive for young people? I don't know, politics or ecology. How would you see the situation being from Poland? How would you compare if people are there active or not? If you can tell us something.
Like, it's hard for me to say this objectively, so it will be like my personal opinion. I have friends that are doing some volunteer work in Ukraine. Some of my friends has shelter for animals, and she doing a lot of work for this. Also, another friends I have, they organize a like personal project for collecting blood, and they started to do this year or last year, and now they become more and more popular. So they got more and more people that came there to help other people. Also, I had friends that organize some like workshops for other people to help. It's particularly for students and for youth. They could go on these workshops and to know better like something of psychology, some improve some communicational skills. It was different topics. Also another I know projects. It is also led by students. They don't get paid for this. It's a personal project. It goes like Your Country, and they organize like exchange inside Ukraine. So they helps one young people to travel to another city for a few days, and there is some cultural program. I think it's very like useful because Ukraine is a very big country, and there are a lot of places, beautiful places that you have no idea about its existence, and they help to see it, and it's really cool.
I'm really glad that you mentioned it, and I've never heard about such an idea before. And could you just remind us how big is Ukraine, or how many people are living there?
Around 45 million now, I think.
Okay, so it's a bit more than in Poland.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a big country for sure. Many places and cities to visit.
Yeah.
And as you said, am I right that you said that this project was developed by like informal group of students,
Yes.
right? Do you know how this program is funded?
I don't know exactly how they fund it. I know that, for example, if you want to apply for some projects, because they announce on their I don't know, do they have a website, but they definitely have a page in social network, and they make announcements that, for example, in 2 months we will have trip to this city or town, and for this you need to pay only for your train tickets, but if you're a student you got a discount for this, and maybe some extra money that you want to buy something special in the city. But also inside this city they have some group of local people that would like to host these students that will arrive, and also they are ready to provide some food in case if there is no such possibility. They find the cheapest restaurant, some cafes, so it's not so expensive for the student to travel. And also they provide some cultural program, like to visit some places. So I think it's most of this is did only by these students.
Okay, it sounds really impressive, like this kind of self-motivation and just determination and like a lot of work, but a lot of joy for sure.
Yeah.
And we will for sure continue this idea of motivation and benefits and what young people can take out from volunteering. Now we're just gonna listen a little bit of the music.
Poza rządem. Program o organizacjach pozarządowych.
Tonight in Poza Rządem, our special program as every month, EVS Streaming Live. I'm Irmina and my guest is Olia. We are both collaborating. I'm actually working at the STRIM organization. Olia is a volunteer. And tonight we are trying to develop a little bit to understand the topic of volunteering and the motivations and the benefits of the volunteering, and we try to understand a bit better the realities that are in Ukraine, so the country that Olia left to come to Poland to realize her EVS project. Olia, right before the music break, you started to tell me about the very interesting initiative of the students that makes possible some little trips and discoveries inside the country, and it's like really kind of self-managed It's they use a lot of help, and it's something what I have impression it's possible to realize this kind of project even if without the concrete grants and money, right? It's all
Yes.
about the goodwill of people and some kind of great energy. And I wanted to ask you, when you think about like Ukraine, what kind of organization, so not informal group anymore, but now let's try to speak a little bit about the organizations, non-governmental organizations. What kind of volunteering and organization are cool now? Are you now in fashion? Maybe some festival or some foundation, or do you know what's happening now? What is cool now, like in the NGO scene in Ukraine? Or which organization is popular? Which organization people support?
I think that from my point of view, more popular is some festivals. At least a lot of my friends take part exactly in festivals. Also, there could be like two reasons to participate like a volunteer in such kind of organizations. It's because to help to organize, to get some experience, and also to get free access to the
Of
event. Yeah, and also I want to admit charity in Ukraine. Unfortunately, recently there are a lot of speculations with this, and you can meet a lot of people in subways that are collecting money for some sick children, or to collect money for soldiers to the war, and you even can listen a message that says don't give money for the organizations that you don't know, and that's why it's a bit difficult like to know is it a real person or is someone that just take money for itself. So it's a real problem, I would say.
Now, when I heard a few words from you about this phenomenon that there are people collecting money for the like the war victims or for the ex-soldiers, I don't want to go too much into it, but
Yeah.
I just have one question. Do you think, did you notice that since there is a war in Ukraine, that their involvement of young people, it's bigger, you know, people who become volunteers for the sake of, you know, like collecting money or supporting somehow the soldiers or people who get injured, or it's the opposite? Like, do you think it's somehow related? Something changed in the society since the war
Yeah, I
began?
think there are changes. At least level like of patriotism is much higher than was before, but at this wave there are a lot of speculations. Like you can see Ukrainian symbols everywhere because some companies put it on their logos, in their products, just to sell because it's popular now. It's mainstream to have. It's cool to have like T-shirt with Ukrainian symbols, and the same situation with this charity and collecting money. There are a lot of people that maybe they really collect money for some soldiers, but at the same time there are a lot of people that collect this money for their own pockets. So it's very hard like to find the fund that you can trust, and you know that you give this money and the soldiers will get it.
And do you think that so like closing, let's say, this topic of the war and how it's influencing, that somehow the society is changing, that maybe this spirit of like nationalism, let's say, but is it like related with the spirit of, you know, solidarity and volunteering and like supporting, or not much maybe?
I can't say for sure on this question like answer, because volunteering is not like only to take money for the charity and to give poor people something like this. It could be really different like ways to being a volunteer, to protect environment or something else. So I couldn't say that in this case volunteering became more popular. Maybe just in this direction, like helping soldiers.
I see. And if you could try to identify some barriers that stop people to be actively involved in some organizations, or just to find some time and do something in their local community.
Yeah.
Could you try to identify some? Because for sure there are. It's not like everyone is volunteering in every country, but also, of course, it's not like everyone has to do it. But maybe there are some like obstacles for people who could
I
do
think
something.
there are in Ukraine obstacles. For example, I am originally from a small town, and before I came to Kyiv to study, I would say that in my hometown there is no such organizations. Even if I wanted to go, I couldn't, because there is no such places, and I didn't know about this. I just found out when I entered the university and started to know more people. Also, like, this is one obstacle. Another obstacle is maybe economical, because, for example, the most active volunteers are students, youth, and in Ukraine, students had, most of them, a lot of students, they work, because you get scholarship. A lot of students in Ukraine got scholarship, but it's too small. It doesn't cover your expenses, and some of them started to find some extra part-time job to get this money. Another find job to get some working experience, like professional, because they realized that after university they had to have this experience to get a job. So it's like some economical obstacle. Also, maybe some social obstacle is because for older generation, when you could say that, oh, I'm a volunteer, I want to do something in this organization, your maybe family, some grandparents, they could say, you are wasting your time, you are not paid for this, why you are doing this? So you could be judged to be a volunteer.
I see. Because it might be, like, I'm sure it's related with this idea that it used to be the time when the volunteering was an obligation, right, for the citizens. So it's like it's still difficult to change this mentality in some countries. I wanted to ask you, when you think about your current work, your activities as being a volunteer, but actually doing, I would say it's like human resources work for every day. And if you think about what you've done in your life before, is it possible for you to identify some challenge, some difficulties which were like particularly important to you?
Some challenges. I could say that because of these obstacles that I told about, which I told, for me a challenge is like not to stop, because there is a big possibility that because of some economical issues, you started to work and you are too tired after work to have some extra volunteer activities, and this everyday routine, I am really afraid to be lost in it. So it's a challenge for me, like, to do everything, something new, to go out. So yeah, it's my challenge.
I understand. So you think about the future, how it will be, that maybe you will just be, like, as you're saying, you enter your routine, work, free time, and maybe will be not so much space for realizing like what you want or to experience something different.
I hope that no, in the future I will not have this routine, but unfortunately routine is like, there is always a place for routine in the life, but I will try to do everything possible to avoid it. It's hard for me to say like what I'm planning to have to do after EVS. I hope that during these months that I have in the future, I will find out like my goal and where I want to move further. But because it's a really great project and it helps me to rethink my life, what I want to do. It helps me, like to to erase some borders in my head, that I communicate every day with people from all over the Europe and other countries. It's really amazing. You know, you started to know them, and you started to think about your life, your goals, some values, and it's a really great opportunity to understand better yourself.
And we will definitely continue this topic. You've said something like you've been working here with people from all around Europe, and actually I'm pretty well informed that there will be many things going on very soon. So also I wanted to ask you some details about your project, what is occupying you right now. But first,
Poza rządem. Program o organizacjach pozarządowych.
Olia, so you were telling us that, you were telling us a lot of things about your work, and you mentioned that you're working with people from different countries, and you have to manage them and help them and make them feel good here and give them the help they need. And we started to say that soon, as I know, you are going to prepare also in a team with some other people, some activities. So December is coming. I know that the little project, will happen at the beginning of December. So please tell us a little bit more. You can invite people, you can promote it a little bit. This is your space now.
Okay, so recently I would say that it's very hot period now because in a week and a half on 4th of December we have volunteer days that we are going to celebrate, and for this holiday, I would say, we are preparing some flash mob that we will do this Sunday in Krakow, and tomorrow we will have some first rehearsal. So if you want to join, you are welcome. You could find us in STRIM. Also, Migrants Day is coming also soon. It will be on 18th of December. They also are preparing a lot of activities that could be interesting for you. Besides this, there are some my personal projects, and there are some small events that I'm planning for volunteers that are here. It's like city game in Krakow. Maybe it will be a bit later because it's really a lot of events that are happening now, and
yes, and don't forget we have so many events from STRIM, but there is also the Christmas break, and how to combine it all together.
Yeah, and also this Christmas Christmas meeting and Christmas break, so maybe we will do this in January, but anyway, we would be glad to see new faces in our volunteer day. I think it's great opportunity, first of all, to meet new people. It's really cool to also it's a great opportunity to feel this atmosphere of being a volunteer, because in such events you could understand what people you could meet in your project, in your EVS, and how it looks like, because we are going to speak about our volunteering experience here in Krakow. So you're welcome.
Could you just say what will happen, where, at when? So maybe some people just take the note and in their mind. When it will take place, the Volunteers Day?
Okay, Volunteer Day will be on 4th of December, on Sunday. It will start at 7 p.m. in Club Re here in Krakow. This flash mob about what I am talking about rehearsal, it will be tomorrow at 4 p.m. So you're welcome to meet with us in STRIM. And Migrants Day will be also on 18, and you can find this on Facebook, already created event that is connected with our official page STRIM, and you can find there all necessary information.
Exactly. So about this event on the event that is coming, so the Volunteers Day, you will find information on our Facebook page, because there is the whole invitation, and with a poster prepared by Olia, and it's it's still kind of a mystery. We don't say much about program, and thank you, Olia, for not saying too many details. That's kind of a surprise. But 4th December, 7 p.m. and in the Rec Club. So it's really nice that we talked today about the idea of volunteering, especially about the realities in Ukraine, and then you can invite people for the event, for the local event that we are going to have here, and that wouldn't really happen without your help. Coming slowly to the end, and before announcing the date of our next program, I wanted to ask you something, maybe not directly related with the volunteering. However, I'm really curious. I don't know much about the recent life in Ukraine, and I'm really curious to know who are the people that motivate, inspire young people. You know, people like you who want to do something more in their life, who are very brave, who go abroad or just become the local volunteers or just become very active in their local community. So who are the people who inspire you, or who are the people who have influence on the life of young people? Do you have some people who you can call like authorities or idols, or maybe not?
Of course, I think for every person different this idol exists, but I think big influence, maybe some famous singers are doing. We have a very good band like Okean Elze, and this singer is very he has like his own opinions that I think has a very big influence on our youth. Also, like for me personally, I think that some people that influence on me are my friends that I know that did something in their lives, and after this I think, okay, maybe I also can try and do this. I could say that actually all my friends, they don't watch TV, so if we have someone who is our idol, it's someone who we could find in the internet, who had some blogs maybe. And for example, why I took part in this UVS, because I found some video blog of another Ukrainian guy who was a UVS volunteer in France, and it was really amazing, very detailed information. And after this I decided, okay, why not? He did so many cool things, I also want. So yeah, I think for every person it's like different, but of course some famous people did own influence on our minds and our opinions.
Okay, but as you said, it's particularly important what's happening, the sharing that happens between young people, right? Like
yes.
The motivation, and that's like you don't have to look look for someone who is very far and is doing some unbelievable things, because maybe just close to you there are people who can inspire you. By the way, I would really like to have this video of the guy, Ukrainian guy who done his VS in France. Yes.
Yeah.
You have to send me this, because also for us it can be very, very interesting to learn and maybe to share it.
Yeah, but it's just one. It is in Russian language.
It's just one small problem.
Yeah.
But we have you, Olia, so yeah. I think we can. You can.
I will help to translate.
Exactly. That would be really nice, at least to know how is it, and to try to just understand how it was, why it was impressive for you, and we can also share it with other people. That would be really great. So, how do you want to end this program? Because this is the end coming.
What I could say is that for me it was really amazing experience. Actually, after this program I want to come next time, but I think I need to give an opportunity for the next volunteer. So thank you for listening us. I was really happy to come here and to share my experience. Thank you, Irmina, for giving me this opportunity.
No problem. That was my pleasure, really. You are the boss, so you can just come every month and we will find a different exciting topic to discuss. No problem. Just me and you. No, just joking. Yeah, as we said on the beginning, I really hope to see all of you, to all of our volunteers to appear here, and let's see how it will go. Then it also depends from you. And if you try to encourage them, that would be great.
Sure.
Yeah. So let's just invite last more time for our EVS, not for our EVS, for our festivity, the holidays of the Volunteers Day. So for the EVS people, but not only, for the local volunteers, for people who want to meet our volunteers or just to have fun. And there will be some very funny and interesting program prepared by our volunteers. 4th of December, Club Re at 7 p.m. So come by. You are all very welcome. And thanks a lot, Olia, for joining me tonight and for our inspiring discussion. And I just want to invite our listeners for the next program that will be hosted in the audition Poza Rządem. So will be hosted in 1 month, more or less, actually a little bit less. It will be on 15th of December at 7 p.m. And I'm going to announce the topic on our Facebook page for sure, and it will be also on website of Radio Pryzmat. Thank you, Sebastian, for producing the program, and of course big thanks to Agnieszka, the usual host of Poza Rządem. And I cannot say see you, but I talk to you more or less in the month. And I leave you with the last song for tonight. Thank you and goodbye. Good night.